What's up, everybody? I'm Brian, and welcome to another episode of Playing Around. For those who don't know, this is a show that I do where I talk about some nerdy video game news going on while you have some gameplay to watch in the background. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about our first news story, and this is written by literally everybody yesterday, and that is that the NES's 30th birthday was yesterday. Wow, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, and me personally, I'm only 24, but the NES was the first console I played, and there's so many great games on that system, and a lot of them still stand up on their own and still look great. The art for that system really lends itself to still looking incredible. Mega Man still looks good. Metal Gear looks really good. All of these great games are still, even in a gameplay perspective, very fun to play, and still in their own way look like some great games. So, happy birthday, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Thank you so much for all the fun that you gave me when I was a kid. I'm talking about, I played this system when I was like 4, 5, 6 years old, playing the original Zelda at my uncle's house, and a lot of fond memories there. And I can't believe it's been so long, but great milestone. Let's see if you can make a really great console like that again with the NX, Nintendo. I really hope you do. But that was all for that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too. Our second story, this one's a short one from VG247, written by Sheriff Said, and it reads, how a Final Fantasy 15 director would love to work on a Legend of Zelda game. And it reads, how different would Nintendo's biggest character be if it was designed by a Final Fantasy director? It says, Hajime Tabata, the current director of Final Fantasy 15, wants to apply his expertise on a Legend of Zelda game. Tabata chose the Zelda franchise when he was asked by Dengeki PlayStation which company's IP would he want to work on. The Legend of Zelda series. I'm not quite sure why myself, but a Zelda game made with the technology and know-how of Final Fantasy 15 is the game I wish to create as of this moment, he told in the magazine's 600th issue. This is unlikely to happen, of course, so you may as well draft your dream feature list. The real Legend of Zelda was just recently delayed till 2016. Very interesting. I'm kind of on the fence on Final Fantasy 15. It looks very action oriented. I have yet to play the demo that they made for it, mostly because I don't want to pay $50 for a game that I really don't want to play just to get a demo. I wish they would just release the demo separately, and I would probably pay about $10-15 just for what I hear is pretty big demo anyways. But I'm kind of on the fence on Final Fantasy 15, and I'm not sure if I'm sure there's some elements of Final Fantasy that would be really great in Zelda, and it already looks like they're doing some of that with this next Zelda game. But that, as they say, is that, and we'll go on to the next story, which is by IGN, written by Katie Williams. And it reads, J.K. Rowling reveals her cathartic favorite Harry Potter chapter. It reads, Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling has revealed her favorite chapter from the series, and chances are it's one of yours too. Chapter 34, Deathly Hallows: The Forest Again. Answering a fan's question on Twitter, Rowling confesses that her favorite chapter of the 7-book series is chapter 34 of the final book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Chapter 34, The Forest Again, sees Harry head into the Forbidden Forest, for his final showdown with Lord Voldemort, knowing he's walking to his death. Along the way, Harry is visited by those closest to him who have died, including his parents. In a follow-up tweet, Rowling admits that it was a deeply emotional scene to write. It was the culmination of 17 years' work and the most cathartic piece of writing of my life. Rowling is highly active on Twitter, having answered fan questions about all sorts of obscure Harry Potter plot holes in the past. A 2-part Harry Potter stage play is currently in the works and is due to debut next summer, while the theme park Wizarding World of Harry Potter is due open in California in 2016. Very interesting and very good choice. I would have expected her to pick a more obscure chapter from maybe, book 4 or something like that, but it seems like writing that chapter really meant something to her. So, yeah, wow. We'll go ahead and go on to our next story, which is by Gama Sutra and written by Alex Warrow. And it reads, Payday 2 dev in hot water for reversing stance on microtransactions. Starbreeze subsidiary Overkill Software is in a bit of hot water this week after adding microtransactions to its popular and not free-to-play game Payday 2, despite earlier public assurances by staffers that they would never do so. Overkill is approaching Payday 2 as a long-term, substantial platform in the vein of Counter-Strike Go or Dota 2 by implementing a system of selling optional in-game keys for $2.50, which unlock in-game crates containing things like cosmetic skins, but it's being hampered by public perception of the game established before it was even released. At least one of the developers who in 2013 spoke publicly against adding microtransactions to Payday 2, former game director David Goldfarb, left Overkill the following year to go indie. But in the run-up to the game's 2013 release, Goldfarb, sorry, I can't talk right now, offered an emphatically negative response to a question from GameSpot about possibly adding Payday 2 microtransactions down the road. No, God, I hope not, Goldfarb told GameSpot in 2013. Never, no. The game went on to become a bit of a breakout hit for Overkill, inspiring publisher 505 Games to invest millions in Overkill. Owner Starbreeze earlier this year and pour millions into continuing development of Payday 2 ports and DLC, even as it extended its exclusive publishing rights for the game through 2032. Wow. At the time, Starbreeze chairman Michael Jorth stated that Payday as a franchise is here to stay, and with it we are building a solid financial foundation for the company for years to come. Very interesting, but it seems like this is something that that Goldfarb himself said he hopes not to. And he's no longer a part of the company. And I don't think Goldfarb was speaking for the entire company when he was quoted by GameSpot by that. It was just his own personal opinions, and Payday 2 is a successful game, but it seems like they're not very fast moving in making Payday 3, so they want to make make money in the short term right now, and well, I mean, more like the long term, honestly, and have microtransactions in their game, which is their prerogative, and you as a consumer can just not buy those microtransactions if you don't. It seems like it's more cosmetic stuff and less, pay to win stuff, which I think would be a big mistake if they did something like that. And we're going to go on to our last story of the day. And this is kind of a follow-up to a story that was yesterday's, which reported that Kojima had left Konami October 9th. That was pretty much the long and short of the story, and this is a follow-up to that story, which is written by Brian Ashcraft over at Kotaku, and the headline reads, Konami denies Hideo Kojima has left, says he's on vacation. Earlier today, the New Yorker published a story reporting that Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima parted ways with Konami earlier this month. The Tokyo-based game company is denying this report, saying that Hideo Kojima is still an employee and is currently on vacation. Update. The author of the New Yorker piece, Simon Parkin, tweeted a photo below of what maintains is the farewell party. Of course, it could be a get-together before a long vacation, or just another entry in the seemingly strange going-ons in Konami. According to Tokyo Sports, a spokesperson at Konami's Tokyo headquarters said, currently Kojima is listed as a company employee at Konami. Konami denied that he has left the company. Currently, Kojima and the development team are finished developing Metal Gear Solid 5 and are taking a long time off from work. When asked about the farewell party, Konami replied, we're not sure what kind of thing this was. This pretext of a vacation could be a way for a long fade-out, but Konami insisted, because of the development time for console games is so long and fatigue builds up, it's common for employees to take extended periods of time off when development is finished. A source close to Konami previously told Kotaku that Kojima's contract ends this December. Kotaku reached out to Konami for clarification, but did not hear back before publication. Ugh. And then it shows the photo of the party, which does look like some sort of party, farewell party. Everybody's looks like they're taking a drink and giving a toast to Kojima. This is weird. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. Konami either needs to clarify that he is indeed leaving, or, say that they made up and that Kojima is staying. Because all of this is just weird altogether. There's all these conflicting reports going, Konami is only gonna make mobile games, but Konami is still dedicated to make AAA games. So, I'm wondering if maybe something happened. Obviously something happened. Some sort of falling out between Kojima and Konami, and they both decided it'd be best for him to leave. Okay, we get that. Then the game comes out and they realize that they made all their money back and then some on the first day. Something many, many movies don't ever see in their first day. Probably around a week ago now, there was a story that broke, and I think I talked about it on one of my videos actually, that Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain made $179 million on its first day. The budget was around $80 million, and if you add probably a marketing budget of around $40 million, that's probably more than generous for that. They still made around $59 million profit on day one. and they compared that to uh, uh, Avengers: Age of Ultron, which costed $250 million to make, only made $84 million on day one. There was a report that later said, well, movies and games are different. Games make $60 a piece. Movies make $14 for a movie ticket a piece. But I say that you look at any movie, any of these big budget movies compared to big budget games. Have you seen many movies that have made their budget back on day one? And the answer is no. It doesn't happen with these big budget movies. It takes a couple weeks. It takes months, sometimes years, to recoup all of the money that they spent on it. That story would be like, we'll use Avengers: Age of Ultron, would be like if Avengers: Age of Ultron made $300 million on its first day. That did not happen. They made less than a third of that, to be exact. Obviously, Avengers went on to make nearly $1 billion, probably $1 billion by this moment. But if you think of it in that way, then Metal Gear Solid 5 will probably make at least $500 million. At least. So I'm wondering if they saw just how successful they can still be with making these AAA titles and said, oh shit, we really messed up with firing one of our best creators. Maybe we should try to help mend this relationship. And maybe that's what they're doing right now with this vacation, trying to see where they will go next and if they can keep a good relationship between each other. I'd be interested in seeing what happens later, and if Kojima decides that's all well and good, but I'm still gone. I'm out. I don't want to make a Metal Gear game every 2 years, because if you think about it, this was the best Metal Gear. They will want to, Konami would want to make another Metal Gear game. They wouldn't want it to have a development time of 7 years, and there's no reason that this game would have a development time of 7 years if they made another one, because they got all the hard stuff out of the way. They made this brand new engine. They had, they created all new assets for this game. They could easily now, I would think, take 2 or 3 years to make another Metal Gear game, reuse some of the assets, keep the engine. You would probably continue to go on the Big Boss storyline, because the way the gameplay lends itself, Solid Snake doesn't really fit with the way that Metal Gear Solid 5's gameplay is. Big Boss is building up this giant army. Solid Snake is just a single soldier. He's never building up this army, so Fultoning soldiers out of wherever Solid Snake would be wouldn't make sense, really, because where would those soldiers really go? And I don't know, it just doesn't make story sense, honestly, to have a Solid Snake doing the same things that Big Boss is doing. But I'm interested in seeing what really happens. If he's gone, I just hope that they would just come out and say, alright, he's gone. He has a non-compete clause that ends at the end of this year. Like, he can't go to any company, which is confirmed that he can't go anywhere until the end of the year and start making his next game. So, if he's gone, I just wish they would go ahead and say he's gone. That's my thoughts. That's all the news stories for today. And I wanted to throw out a topic at the end of this video, and it has to do with our first story, which was the NES's 30th birthday, and I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite NES game? Mine, I had a hard time thinking about this question because I was so young whenever the NES became a part of my life. Uh, but I settled on The Legend of Zelda. It's the one game that I remember playing on the NES extensively, and it was just a really fun game to play over and over again. So, what are you guys' favorite NES game? That's going to be, leave that in the comment below. That's going to be the conversation piece for this video. And with that, that's the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe to the show, share it with your friends, and follow me on Twitter. I'm @BrianPotite. Have a great day, and game on.